everybody, Lord Tremendous here. Got another battle report here for you. Battle report number 7. This is a 1500 point battle. Tis I, Lord Tremendous of the Thousand Suns versus Cannon of Doom of the Space Marines. I think he's got Death Guard. I don't even know if that's a Space Marine chapter. He's playing Space Marines. I don't know what chapter they are. They're all the same to me. I don't know what flavor it is. I don't know what's going on. I'm pretty sure it's Space Marines and they've got guns. So we throw down. We're practicing. We have a local tournament coming up in a few days when we played this game, and we're just trying out some lists to see if we like them. If we want to make any tweaks before that tournament comes up. So sit back, relax, and get ready to see how this one goes. Here's my list, and there's no change from the last game because I don't think I needed to change it yet. I have the Exalted Sorcerer on a disc with a Force Staff, Infernal Bolt Pistol, and Frag and Crack Grenades. I've got another Exalted Sorcerer. This one's on foot. He also has a Force Staff, Infernal Bolt Pistol, and Frag and Crack Grenades. I've got my amazing unit of 10 Rubric Marines with 6 Infernal Bolters, 2 Warp Flamers, a Soul Reaper Cannon, and then my Sorcerer has a Force Staff and Infernal Bolt Pistol. And then I have a unit of 15 Zangors. They have auto pistols, chain swords, and an Instrument of Chaos. These guys are really badass. I have a single Hellbrute with a Multi-Melta and a Hellbrute Fist. They're just badass. They really are. I really like my Hellbrute. And then I have my unit of 5 Scarab Occult Terminators with 3 Infernal Combo Bolters, 4 Power Swords, a Soul Reaper Cannon, a Hellfire Missile Rack, and the Sorcerer has a Force Staff and the Infernal Combo Bolter. Wow, that's a mouthful. And then I've got this badass. Yeah, that's my model. That's what Big Tom did. He assembled and painted my Renegade Knight, Lord Tremendous. He's got Titanic Feet, a Thermal Cannon, Rapid Fire Battle Cannon, and 2 Heavy Stubbers. But just look at that magnificent son of a bitch. I mean, just take a minute and look at the detail. Look how well he painted it. The chest piece says Lord. He's got my symbol on the groin banner. He's got everything about this. He had a buddy of mine 3D print the Thousand Sun hat to put on top of him. This thing is glorious. I'm not even showing you all the detail because this is just one angle. And it's so tremendous. I love everything about this thing. Sorry, I had to show off. I had to gush. Anyway, I didn't have it in this game, so I don't use it in this game. But you'll see it in the tournament games, which will come up in a few battle reports. Anyway, that's going to do it for my list. I'm going to post my opponent's list, play some music. Feel free to pause it whenever you like to see what he took. Here we are in deployment, and we did that diagonal deployment. We rolled off. The missions were capture the relic or something like that, and there's like 6 relics on the table. They're signified by the little green dice on square bases. You can see periodically right in the middle of the table, kind of to the right. They're all over the friggin' place. There's some that are hidden by the terrain and the angles, but after that, then we rolled to see what direction or how we deployed, and we diagonaled across the table, and then within within 9, 12 inches of the diagonal line or something like that. But anyway, as you can see, I have a weird like diagonal swappy path thing here that I deployed in. We went back and forth, and I ended up being able to go first. But yeah, that's where I'm at. I got Lord Tremendous's proxy on the left side there, all magnificent. Then I've got my Rubric Marines and my Hellbrute in the middle there. They're going to shoot up there. My opponent put his scouts in the middle there, right near where that relic is in the center. That's because it's the big relic or whatever. It's worth more. But yeah, I'm going to eat those guys alive. I've got my Exalted Sorcerer on a disc right behind my Rubrics to give them the reroll in ones, and it's just a safe position for them. I've got the other Exalted Sorcerer and the Zangors at the bottom there, and my Terminators are going to be deep striking. That's it for deployment. Just so everyone's clear, the big relic is the one in the middle there, and I think it's worth like 3 points, 3 battle points, or whatever it is, kill points, and that's why my opponent put his scouts right next to it, and not a terrible move. If he had gotten to go first, it would have been a genius move, because it would have been a pain in the ass to catch him. And the little relic or minor relic or whatever it is in my opponent's back, or in his deployment, like his side of the table, in the middle, right next to his dreadnought and stuff like that. And yeah, that's going to be interesting. That one's like the minor one. It's only worth like 1 battle point or kill point or whatever it is. But yeah. I mean, it's on his side. It's still a point, but it is what it is. With that, we go over here to top of 1 after movement, and like I said, I got to go first. So I did. I moved pretty much everything forward. My Rubric Marines moved up there 5 inches because they're kind of slow. The Hellbrute moved up only about 7 inches because I screwed up his movement. I didn't realize I could move 8. I'm still new. I brought my Exalted Sorcerer on a disc around the side of the building there, and the reason I did that was because I thought in order to cast my spells, I did not need line of sight. I was stupid wrong, so mistakes were made. Lord Tremendous comes up on the left side there. I did kind of put him out of position by accident, but it's fine with his range and everything like that. He'll still be able to commit and help out with the fight. The Zangors went into the building there with the hopes of bringing the Space Marines closer so I could move out and assault them next turn. I made a mistake, though, and I made some of the Zangors very visible through that little doorway because I didn't see it, and I'm kind of stupid, but it is what it is. I made a mistake. The Exalted Sorcerer, he moved after him, but couldn't quite get far enough. I didn't want to advance him because I wanted him to be able to cast his spells. Turns out it wasn't necessary, and I made another mistake, but, it's kind of the way I play. And then you can't see it. I'll show you a better picture in a minute, but to the back and right of the Predator tank there in the right there, I dropped off my Terminators, and their job is going to be to try to take out one of these tanks, or at least do a bunch of damage, because he's actually got a Razorback behind that building where his snipers are. So I got a lot of stuff in that back corner, and my Terminators got their work cut out for him. But that's it for my movement. In the Psychic phase, my little Psyker inside the Rubric Marines kills one of the scouts, and it's got to start somewhere. My Terminator Sorcerer over here does the same thing to the Predator tank. Turns out he was just like a quarter of an inch closer than a Razorback. Which, okay, I'll take it. Free wounds are free wounds. Then we go into the shooting phase, and my Terminators open up on the Predator tank, and they do a significant amount of wounds. They do 4 more wounds to it with their bolters and stuff like that. I was very proud of them. Not terrible at all. Not to be outdone, my Hellbrute opens up on the Predator tank with his Multi-Melta, hits, wounds, and 4 wounds get through, putting that sucker at 9. Basically, that thing's just begging for death at this point, and I want to grant it that sweet deal. And then right here, my Rubric Marines open up on those scouts, and everybody hits, wounds, kills. I think my Warp Flamers were in range. It was not a good day to be a scout, and they died the pig's death that they deserved. And then over here, Lord Tremendous opens up on his Dreadnought over there. Just unloads everything he can fire into this thing, because really it's the only thing he can see. And I get 9 wounds through. 9! I mean, holy crap. Oh, I like that model so much. And then we go into the assault phase, and my Terminators try to go into the Razorback, or maybe it was the Predator. I don't remember which one. I try to charge one of these bastards, and I fail, and I take a wound for my trouble when he overwatched. Could have been better, but in all fairness, this turn went really well for me, so who am I to complain? So with that failed charge, here's bottom of one after movement. And there's not a ton. His stuff really seems to be stationary. The Space Marines on the right, the tactical guys, they start coming forward to deal with the Zangors because they can see them, and I'm an idiot and didn't see that. The Razorback comes forward because I guess it's carrying guys around that want to come out and kill me. The Predator stays right where it's at because if he moves, he'll be hitting on sixes at this point, so what's the point? His Dreadnought goes after the Terminators because it's still pretty deadly, even with 9 wounds on it. And then in the back there, his 2 characters deep strike in there, and his Assault Marine guys with the jump packs jump back there, and that's really it for his movement. Kicking off his shooting phase, his snipers open up on my Exalted Sorcerer on foot, and thank you to terrible dice rolling, because I only take 1 wound. I got lucky! And then his Dreadnought opens up on my Terminators, but luckily he's malfunctioning pretty hard with the 9 wounds on him, and is only able to do 1 wound, killing the guy that got hurt with the Overwatch. So, it is what it is, but that could have been a lot worse had Lord Tremendous not done 9 wounds of this thing. Crazy. I think the Razorback opens up on the Rubric Marines and is able to kill 1 of them, which kind of sucks, but it, again, could have been worse. Right here, though, it is where the botch really happens. The Space Marines unload on my Zangors, killing 7 of them. Oh, did I make a mistake? Well caught on my opponent. I didn't even see it until he targeted him. He was like, I'm going to shoot the Zangors. Like, how can you see it? There's a door. Oh, there's a door. Very well played. And I think his Devastator squad shoots some of the shots into Rubric Marines, killing 1 off. And that brings us into our assault phase. The jump pack guys, they slam into my Exalted Hero on a disc. Didn't think they were going to make it. Man, was I wrong. I did Overwatch, but all he has is a pistol. Wasn't effective at all. Same thing happens with the Terminators. They get charged by the Dreadnought. They, I don't believe, do anything with their Overwatch. I can't remember. And he makes it in no problem. We go into combat, and my Exalted Sorcerer doesn't do terrible. Out of the 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 or so, 8 or 9, I don't remember how many make it in, but he actually is able to kill 1 or 2. In return, he takes 4 wounds. I made some incredible 5-ups, but he's not dead. And he even took a couple Marines out for his troubles, so not bad for a Sorcerer. Combat over here does not exactly go my way. I lose another Terminator, and I only am able to do 1 wound back to him. It's fine if I can get Smite to go off. It should be enough to kill this guy, but still, it's like, damn, I need to do 1 more wound. Finally, in the morale phase, 4 of my Zangors run away. Just panic. I've got like 3 or 4 left, but that's not nearly enough to do anything that I need this unit to do. Oh well, it's all about that positioning, right? That wraps up my opponent's turn, so here's top of 2 after movement, and I bring Lord Tremendous over. He's going to try to bail my Exalted Sorcerer on a disc out of this fight as quick as he can, hopefully. The Rubric Marines, I think about moving them, and then I realize I don't need to. I can shoot at the Razorback. I can shoot at pretty much everything I want. There's no need to move up towards the Relic yet. Kind of puts me in an awkward position where they can't shoot, so I don't bother. The Hellbrute moves towards the Razorback because I want to crack it open and see what's inside. And then my Zangors move up towards the Space Marines because if they can't do anything to really hurt them, maybe I can distract them and keep them on this side of the board. That's really it for my movement. During the Psychic phase, I'm able to use Smite and destroy the Dreadnought, which proceeds to explode and take 1 of my Terminators with him. All in all, not a terrible trade, but damn! My Terminators took a lot more damage than I wanted them to take in that fight. Continuing with the Smite spam, my Exalted Sorcerer on foot does it to his closest character because you don't get to aim it, it's just the closest enemy unit. And I get 3 mortal wounds off on him. Not enough to kill him, but definitely enough to make his internals burst, which I feel good about. We go into shooting phase. My remaining Terminators open up on the Predator, doing 1 more wound to it. It's going the right direction. I really don't have anything to complain about. Finishing off what the Exalted Sorcerer started, my Rubric Marines open up on the character that was closest, well, that was closest targetable to him, I guess, because I guess the Assaulting Marines were the closest target, but I don't know. I mean, I couldn't shoot him. Maybe we did something wrong here. I'm not 100%. But my Rubik Marines fired at the character that was closest to him, who had the 3 mortal wounds on him, and killed him dead, which worked out for me, but I'm pretty sure we did that right because I couldn't shoot the guys that were in close combat with my Exalted Sorcerer. I don't know. Somebody with a book would have to let me know. Lord Tremendous takes aim at the Space Marines that have decimated my Zangors and kills 4 of them. So there was 11, and now there's 7. It was not my best round of shooting, but not my worst, and I really didn't have anything better to shoot at, so I felt pretty good about this. And just because they can, the 3 remaining Zangors take a shot at the Space Marines, killing 1. Not bad for auto pistols. In the assault phase, my Rubik Marines go into the Jump Pack Marines, and we try to attack them. I think I attacked with the Rubik Marines first, killing 2 of these guys. My opponent used command points to interrupt, and took out my Exalted Sorcerer, which was a shame. Rubik Marines, they're really not for close combat. They don't have any close combat other than the Sorcerer with the staff, but I'm willing to bet I flubbed with it. In any case, it is what it is, and my Exalted Sorcerer dies. Well played by my opponent. What can you do? Lord Tremendous assaults his captain or librarian or whatever the hell this character is, makes it, and thunder stomps him. It was glorious and a little messy. He got it in between his toes. He was not happy. It was kind of grody. My Hellbrute gets into combat with the Razorback and is able to get 6 wounds through after all is said and done. Takes nothing for its time, and while I didn't kill it, at least I hurt it a lot, and, you know, I gotta crack the can eventually. And then here, my Terminators assaulted the Predator, got the last wound through, and it didn't blow up, it was just wrecked, which was outstanding. 1 less turret to deal with. I do their 3-inch follow-up move, and they get a little bit closer to the Razorback, and that's pretty much it for my turn. Here's bottom of 2 after movement, and there's a little bit, not a ton. His Space Marines move to advance on the Hellbrute. He's really not concerned about the 3 remaining Zangors, which was a shame. I was really hoping he was going to concentrate attention on them. His Razorback does come out of combat with the Hellbrute and moves into the terrain there. I don't know why. I'm not going to lie to you. I don't recall. And that's really it. Everything else he has is snipers in the building and Devastator squad in the other building, and that's it for his movement. We go into the shooting phase, and I believe his Space Marines open up on the Zangors, killing 1. I rolled pretty good for my ward saves. Some of the Space Marines also fire at the Hellbrute and are able to slip 3, 4, 5 wounds on him. I think maybe it was a missile launcher or something like that. It was pretty devastating. And then his Devastator squad targets the Hellbrute and finishes him off. He doesn't explode, but my heart does break. I do like my Hellbrute. And then I believe the Razorback takes aim at the remaining 2 Zangors and kills them dead. Also very sad, but the Zangors really got the poop end of the stick on this one, which I think is going to be their fate in my army, which is a shame because they're really amazing. In the assault phase, however, things really don't go my way. 3 Rubik Marines die horrible deaths, and in return we do nothing back to them. The 3 remaining assault Marines are remaining there, which hurts. Hurts a lot. But it is what it is. I know I'm going to have to send in Lord Tremendous now, and if I gotta, I gotta. What can you do? So here's top of 3 after movement. Like I said, I moved Lord Tremendous over to try to help the Rubik Marines out against these Space Marines that just won't die. My Exalted Sorcerer moves into the ruins so that the snipers can't keep taking pot shots at him. They are taking pot shots at him. My opponent's rolling terrible to wound. It's actually, again, these tables might be slightly possessed. My Terminators move their piddly 4 inches forward to try to deal with the Razorback, and everything else I have is deader in combat. In the Psychic phase, my Terminator Sorcerer slips 1 more wound through on the Razorback, and hey, nickel and dime, baby, nickel and dime. My Exalted Sorcerer over here is able to get Smite off on the Assault Marines that are in with the Rubik Marines, and does 3 mortal wounds, which means the 3 bastards die. Smite is a lot like cheating. I'm really starting to enjoy it. My Terminator started off in the shooting phase and put 3 more wounds on the Razorback, almost killing it, but not quite. And then I think it's Lord Tremendous from downtown. It could have been the Rubik Marines. I really don't remember. Something over here shoots the Razorback, kills it, and the son of a bitch explodes. Yeah, he explodes and kills off one of my Terminators and puts a wound on another, because I think it did 3 total, and only one of his Space Marines dies. The snipers were literally an inch outside of the blast, so they were okay. But yeah, that sucked. I decided to go with the Sorcerer over the Soul Reaper Cannon model, because if it survived, it could put out a lot more damage than the Sorcerer can. So that's just the decision I made. You know, it was the Rubik Marines that finished off the Razorback, because Lord Tremendous opens up and puts everything into the Space Marines and kills the last 4. I mean, I'm sorry. If you're infantry taking Strength 8 and Strength 9 hits from a friggin' Renegade Knight, you're probably going to get mulched. And that's exactly what happened here. With nothing to assault, here's bottom of 3 after movement, and I don't believe there is any. All he has left is some snipers in the top of the building and some devastators in the other building, so there's no movement whatsoever. In the shooting phase, his Devastator Squad opens up on the Terminator and just pulverizes him. It was just too many shots, too many wounds. Even 2-up armor ain't going to save you from that much damage. His snipers shoot, but I don't think they do anything. There's no assault, so we go here to top of 4 after movement. I've only got a few units left. I advance, I think, with my Exalted Sorcerer to get him the hell out of range of the snipers and everything like that. My Renegade Knight and my Rubik Marines. My Renegade Knight moves up. The Rubik Marines move towards the center relic again. I wasn't 100% if tabling him was going to happen, so I figured I'd secure one of the relics with my Rubik Marines and call it good, while Lord Tremendous just unloaded the rest of his ammo on the infantry that were hiding in the buildings. That's it for movement. Nothing happens in the psychic phase because my sorcerer advanced, so Lord Tremendous opens up on the snipers, and he splits his fire. I believe the thermal cannon and the heavy stubbers went into the snipers, killing 3 of them, which I'm very pleased about. And his rapid-fire battle cannon goes into the Devastator Squad, killing 3 of them. Obviously, my opponent just took the guys with bolters. Here we are in bottom of 4 after movement. There's absolutely no movement, and yes, he passed his morale checks. He keeps his guys right where they're at, because there's no reason to move those particular units. During his shooting phase, they don't do anything. My opponent's dice have completely quit on him, and my dice won't fail any armor saves. So, yeah, it's a quick turn. We go immediately into top of 5 after movement, and Lord Tremendous moves towards the snipers and the Devastator Squad. Meanwhile, the Rubik Marines continue to try to secure the relic in the middle, and my Exalted Sorcerer more or less stays where he's at. He moves up a little bit, but I mean, all he's got is a pistol. He's not going to do anything, and he's still out of range for Smite. That's it for movement. We go directly into shooting. The Rubik Marines open up on the snipers, and even with all their saves and everything like that, we're able to kill the last 2, because my Rubik Marines were on point. And then Lord Tremendous opens up on the Devastators, killing all but one of them. There's that little guy in the back of that building there, and that's all that's left. He does pass his morale check, however, so here we are in the bottom of 5 after movement, and there isn't any. He's only got that one guy holed up in the ruins in the building on the right. There's no reason to move him. We go into shooting, and his shot misses. So here's top of 6 after movement. Lord Tremendous gets a little bit closer. The Exalted Sorcerer and the Rubik Marines get closer to the relic in the middle of the table, and that's it for movement. In the shooting phase, Lord Tremendous empties everything into the one remaining Devastator and kills him deader than dead. And there it is. There's the end of the game. As you can see, it went pretty well for the Thousand Suns. However, it didn't go perfect. I lost more than half my army. I lost 4 out of my 7 units. No, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 4 out of my 7 units, which is pretty devastating considering I only have 7 units. So a lot of bad luck on the dice by my opponent, because his dice are in a love affair with me. So, you know, it is what it is. But still a good game. Still got a lot to learn about this army. But I think I'm reasonably good with them. I would say I'm average, and that's saying a lot considering I usually think I suck at these games. But you know what? We'll get to the recap in a minute, because this game is over.
That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over.
So, yeah, I know I already gushed about this earlier in the game, but look at this magnificent beast right here. Look at the crotch banner. It's got my logo on it. Big Tom went way above and beyond on this model. He put it all together. He converted the left turret right there so that I could have my dual ranged guns on there. That actually was the chainsaw blade. He magnificently painted and decorated the entire thing, and went even so far as to get a mutual friend of ours to 3D print the Thousand Suns hat for this guy so that he could fit into my theme. The man is a savant, plain simple and to the point. And the model is easily the most magnificent 40K model, sci-fi model I've ever owned and fielded. I love this thing forever. So if you want to feel the same way about your unpainted and unfinished models, send Big Tom an email, arrange something with him so that you can finally be proud of your army, and tell him Tremendous sent you. You're welcome. So yes, this was a victory for Lord Tremendous. I was able to table my opponent by the top of turn 6, doesn't matter when. Wasn't a huge victory though. I ended up losing more than half of my army. My Sorcerer on a Disc, my Zangors, my Terminators, and my Hellbrute. Just really hard fought, and I think if my opponent's dice would just learn to roll average, he'd be kicking my butt a lot more often. Having Renegade Knight Lord Tremendous is still like an easy button. You point at a unit and say, I want you to pick up most, if not all, of that unit. And then you roll a bunch of dice and it usually happens. It's a little ridiculous, and I love it. My Rubik Marines and my Terminators did really, really well this game. They took a lot of abuse and survived most of it. The Terminators did end up getting wiped off the table. But all in all, they did exactly what I needed them to do, and I was proud of them. My Zangors, they did, unfortunately, the poop end of the stick type of stuff this game, and I don't believe it was their fault. I placed them poorly. I did notice the little hole in the wall, and my opponent took advantage of my mistake, which is exactly what you're supposed to do in a war game. The Hellbrute did well. It took a pot shot at the tank, at the Predator, and popped a few more wounds on it, and then got a hold of the Razorback. But the concentrated fire, I mean, it's only got a 3-up armor. It's not obviously a weak thing to kill, but it's not the hardest thing in my army to kill. So, poor bastard. He did pretty well, though, and I really am enjoying my army. The deployment used in this game was interesting. It was different. I'm kind of just used to 12 inches in or the weird things, and this was weird, but I kind of liked it. The slanted deployment was really cool. Lots more terrain on the table than I'm used to. Probably the most terrain I've had on a table yet, and it just took me a minute or so to get my head around it. Not as long as it unfortunately took my opponent's dice to get around to rolling well or even average. And again, that's a problem that plagues my opponent. I'm thinking about for his birthday getting him new dice. I don't know if I want to do that because I'm pretty sure it'll bite me in the ass, but I like this guy, so I feel bad for him. But you know what? His dice kept my Sorcerer alive, and I do appreciate that. All in all, I think I'm figuring out this army more or less, and one day I hope to be at least average with it. So, you know, long-term goals, what can I tell you? This is a great game, of course, against a great opponent, and I was very much looking forward to our rematch. I'm hoping that I run into him at the tournament just to see how we do against him. I like the escalation and the changes and stuff like that, the evolution of our lists. So I was curious to see what he would do in order to counter everything, especially knights. And you'll find out in the future whether or not I faced off against him. I already know, but, you know, whichever. Either way, our rematch should be pretty cool. But that's gonna do it. Battle Report number 7 is officially in the history books. As always, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, or complaints, feel free to put them in the comment section below, and I will get back to you as quick as I can. But as always, guys and gals, thanks.